Facebook is saying that they can't show the video. Could you help me out? If you can see me, I will work in the unknown as usual. Well, maybe not as usual. Anyway, I'm going to check your messages and before I begin to make sure that you are seeing me. I'll just keep smiling. Hi, Verby. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Can someone... Hi. Good. Thank you, Juliet. So, we shall continue then. Well, the topic tonight is about the principle, the feminine principle, and the masculine principle. We've touched on it before, and but true harmony comes with the balance of the male, female, and the spirit within us. And this week we've had a very interesting celebration of women, and on the physical plane, that's really, really important. It's equally very important that we honor the masculine principle, because it's the masculine principle that makes things visible. It's the feminine that brings the feeling, the heart, the connection to the spirit, and the masculine principle creates the visible aspect of the highest of what we are. And if mankind has cut off the higher principles and have focused on the more superficial aspects of what reality we've created as reality, that means that the feminine, both in the male person, has been submerged as well. And equally, the feminine woman has to develop her masculine principle more, but from a point of love, from a point of the creative force that's within us. And if you don't have a real good connection to that, then what is there, it can potentially be hurt, anger, bitterness, plus there's an archetypal misuse of our gender. And right now we're in an amazing place that we can work all together, but we have to realize it. If you haven't sorted out your anger, hurt, all that stuff as a woman, if you touch the creative force, which is necessary right now, you could empower the revenge and the anger and everything instead of the highest principle. And it will be very important for the men to contact their feminine principle as well as the higher spiritual side, and then we can all work together to create a new reality. That's my dream. And my artwork is based on those principles, finding the harmony of the masculine principle, the feminine, and the spirit side of things. So I'm going to look at your messages because I can't see them from where I am right now. Give me a minute. Right. Gosh, we've got a lot of wonderful people here tonight. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Yvonne, for telling me. Antonio, Verby can hear me. Angela and Juliet. Hi, Antonio. Nice to see you. Verby now says she can't hear me. Oh no. But now she can hear me. I don't know what goes on. Oh, Matthew's in the kitchen, by the way, cooking our dinner. And he helped me set this up in my studio. And he went live last night. Hey, Andy. Thanks for coming. Well done, Juliet. Prepping canvases, that is great. Have you sent those emails yet? Pauline asks, how do we recognize when we're out of balance with the masculine, especially when we are creating? Writing about personal stuff? Well, if you're creating something, you actually are using the masculine principle to do that. The masculine principle helps create forms. So the important thing about creating forms is your intention and where your creative energy is coming from. So if it's the higher feminine, which is in touch with your soul realm, or the higher realms even beyond that, the life source, and you're bringing it in, then it's your masculine that's making it visible. So long as you're creating, I don't think you're having an imbalance. It's just that we don't realize that it's the masculine principle that brings things into the visible world, the form. Hi, Richard. Angela. Jolly good Juliet has emailed to galleries. Yay! Keep on going. I need to write a few, I think. Yes, Murphy, it was your connection. So what I want to do more honor is to share with you some of the sculptures that I believe was based from that particular imaginative connection intention. So give me a moment and I will shift over to that. Here comes My Song of Woman. I think I've shared this with you before, that how she was born was that I was in Lindos. I think David was on tour. And I was reading the biography of Georgia O'Keeffe. And her girlfriend, I think they both were in North Carolina, her girlfriend saw some sketches that Georgia had done and said, I'm going to New York City, shall I, canvass some galleries? And Georgia said no. But the girlfriend took them anyway. And she was walking down one of the streets in New York City when she saw this one gallery, actually a photographer's gallery, and she thought the images were as sensitive as what George's drawings were. So his name was Stieglitz. Fortunately, when she went in, he was there. And she showed a lot of courage and said, can I show you these drawings of a girlfriend of mine? And he looked at them and he said, I want to meet this woman because she has the courage to paint. the feminine of who she is, with strength. Well, that's made me think a bit, and when I got back to England, I thought, I wonder if I have the courage to create and reveal the truth of my woman. So here we are, Song of Woman. And she's been with me for some time. She's been made in a bronze resin, waiting for someone to have her in real bronze, or even better, Carrara white marble. Oh, would I love that. So then I can show you a few more that became some of my next relationship series. This one's called, that one was called Sea of Passion. And what I thought, well, let's, we've got Song of Woman, which was the relationship to me, but then there's Lovers, relationship of woman to man. There's Humanity, which is the masculine holding up the feminine that's holding up the baby. Then there's Mother and Child. There's a whole relationship series that I then went on to. And of course, another aspect of woman. And back to Sea of Passion, which I thought, you know, when you're actually cuddling each other or being very intimate, to capture that in a sculpture, I thought, I'm not going to show one lip touching the other. It was like I wanted them to dissolve together. And there's this incredible sort of base to it that is like an ocean wave descending and then coming back up to this point of incredible fire energy, the passion of who we are. But a lot of these sculptures are to do with my relationship to myself, to my own masculine, my feminine, my spirit side of things. And also because of the reality of the harmony of those three aspects, the viewer can go into responding to that within themselves. And of course there's Hope that I did after 9/11, so that it the firemen had hope with the angelic realms, because the stories around that was really special. A drama, that's for sure, but it moved me very much to make that sculpture. I hope one day, maybe, because it's just a small maquette, maybe it will be in front of a fire station in America somewhere. I don't know. But then there comes this sculpture. The Spirit of Man. I thought that it's really important to also find a balance of the masculine and the feminine, because both the man person and the feminine person, the woman, we're in a phase, a new cycle for humanity, where we're being called to find a balance within each of us, within ourselves. So I thought it'd be very important to do one of the visible aspect of a man that's in touch with his conscious spirit. And he was shown alongside of a Song of Woman, the similar size of him, during the Olympics, the 2012. I had lots of exhibitions through working with the Art of Sport that the Lloyd's Bank had been one of the sponsors for the Olympics, and Song of Woman and Spirit of Man, along with, I made 23 different pieces of art for that. I was one of 8 artists. It was a very, very creative time, and they traveled around to embassies and lots of other places. Were in Heathrow Airport, Flame of the Spirit. Was in Terminal 5 for 3 years, and Spirit of Man, Song of Woman, and many others were in the gallery that British Airways gave us. So, let me check in with you guys. I had to pull around from one place to the other. So, I like that comment, Juliet. That's true love. Dissolving into each other, that's a perfect way of describing it. It can be your own individual dissolving to find harmony and balance between that triangle of masculine, feminine, spirit. Or when you have a real human relationship where you're dissolving on visible aspects and invisible aspects, and then there's a new relationship, a new triangle, which what I find challenging in such a thing like that is that you have your personality, it's finding how it's like a new triangle. You have you have either the woman, the masculine, the chap, and then you have the relationship, the marriage, which goes out into this other triangle. It's very geometric, and the challenges, particularly that we are going through a change of relationship, and it's probably why it's also sort of crazy, honestly. I'm looking at the comments now. Thank you, Yvonne. Yeah, I love the balance of the Spirit of Man. Those wings were so special to be making them. Yeah, well, all of our masculine inners and visible masculine the wings are growing. Some people have bigger wings. I think Andy Cooney has very big wings. He's on the chat right now. Yay, Erica, thank you for coming. So, I want to get back to something I wanted to show you as well. Have you seen a lot of the photographs of the women for Women International Day? I have to find it. Hang on a minute. I'll be there in a minute. I think I found it. Whenever Matthew's around, things get a little bit more involved about my possibilities, and I'm learning new things all the time. And yes, Richard, he's a really good cook, I have to say. So, I downloaded some of the images to share tonight. They're quite something. Here I am. That nun, that picture of that nun in front of those, that was really, really courageous. And it looked like, hi Doreen, welcome. I'm going to read some of these messages. Yvonne says, I would think world would be more peaceful if both genders would be in balance with their masculine feminine aspect, and it would give relationships more harmony and understanding. Totally. And you have to remember, this is what we're working through, the cycle. Hi Rebecca, glad you can make it. And let's see what my girlfriend has said. Doreen, I love seeing your Olympic works. It was at Bilsham in 2016. Brilliant. And hooray for America. Congress just passed the most effective bill since FDR. Wonderful, wonderful. The COVID relief bill. That was something for everyone to go through. What a cliff edge that was. I will have to check CNN out and see what actually happened. Yes, Juliet, the nun photo was something else. So, Nunzio, sorry, ciao. Well, you're here now. You'll have to watch the first half of the program. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming. It seems like I've said a lot. I've had my vaccination too, and we have to organize Matthew's now. He's in the vulnerable state, but we have to get him over to the NHS clinic, register him. But it's really special to have him here instead of far, far away. But I'm very grateful to WhatsApp and Zoom and his heart quite a lot. It's really, and it was so funny last night because he had I've got a balcony upstairs that's between, it was above the hallway. And it's a nice space, and it has high ceilings, so he can hang his green screen, and he doesn't have to move everything and set it up every time. And both of us, like while I'm doing my Zoom, or pardon me, my live, he's in another room being quiet. And I was in my bedroom being quiet, and I wanted to hear it. So I had headphones on. But the thing is, there's a time delay. And because he's streaming in a different way with YouTube and Facebook and Twitch all at the same time and seeing all the comments, I was hearing the time delay. So I was chuckling because I could hear him singing. And then it would be like a whole phrase of lyrics before I saw it on my phone with headphones on. And I almost made a comment, but I thought, no, it's not relevant except in my world. But it was, it's really nice to have him here. So he's borrowing my lights, and I'm borrowing his webcam. Isn't it amazing what life gives us as a challenge, and how to find the balance no matter what's going on? Yeah. Lori, you miss him in Austin, but happy to know he's home. Since we have lockdown and I can't exhibit, and dancers can't get out and dance on stage, and musicians can't go do gigs in order to make an income and also spread the joy of their creativity, I'm glad he's home. So that, but mind you, he did develop and has developed something very special in his music. As a result of it being in lockdown, he's certainly written some really great songs, and yeah, someone else suggested that maybe Matt and I could do something together. Mom and son. I don't know, but I don't know. We'll see. Otherwise, we have to dream about it. Nunzio. Well, we can barely consider doing a gig in our own country, never mind about going on tour. But one never knows. Angela. Yeah, Karen, Matt sounds really good, and some of those songs, I wake up in the morning with If I. Last night I had spinning plates. Yeah. He's done an interview for a radio station that he had to create, and he sent it out. So I'm sure he's going to share that once it happens. That's probably the first time, well, maybe not, because his lives have If I and Red, White and Blue and So Long, and gosh, you can tell I love his music. Doreen, I am Monday, Wednesday, and Friday now. I do 2 color therapy healing sessions, which you can find the replay on my YouTube channel. And all of these are there as well. Juliet was suggesting that my art would be his background. Well, upstairs on an opposite wall is one of my panels, and he was showing me how we could use his technology to play around with the painting. But we have a bit of time. He might be here for 6 months, so you never know how these things will expand. Doreen says she wants a coffee table book of everything I've created. Paintings, sculptures, houses, memories. Lovely to see you again, my friend. And the Moody Blues. Ha! Matt is the real deal. True that. It's interesting. I was looking at some of my old newsletters, and I used to do them from 2013 to 2016, I think it was. And I didn't realize that I had written a poem before each one. So I've been thinking that maybe I'll do a poetry book with pictures, because each one had a sculpture or a painting. So that's sort of in the up there in the creative realms, seeing what's masculine spirit's going to give birth to that form, how it will be. Yeah. Pauline wants to know, there's a lot of blue and gold in your art. What do these color frequencies symbolize? Well, it's very interesting. I was just working on gold because most of the colors in my color therapy, which I will say again is the replays are on my Ginger Gilmour YouTube channel. You can sign up, Pauline, and watch them all up to now. We did blue, but there'll be another blue. There's indigo still to do. But I was doing angelic gold today. And it's like, at first we're discussing the aspect of how to increase your ability to tune into the invisible aspects of what life is in every one of us. And we do it through flowers first, because they're still alive, whereas you take the crystal, the mineral kingdom, it's another aspect of the life force that one learns to tune in, and then ultimately you're a channel, you're the one. We're one with the mineral kingdom and the flowers and the water and everything, and eventually your soul purpose will come out of that, whether you're going to be an artist or whether you're going to put it in music, whether you're going to do it by being a carer or work with animals or whatever. But that's how each of us could bring in this higher aspect of who we are. And so on Angelic Gold, because we're going to put that up soon, it's just me laying some gold leaf. And it happened that I had Lexa on with, I always listen to the classic music that's good to relax when you have a bath. An Avo part came on while I was doing this, so I'm feeling it. So I've made a little audio of a poem that goes with it that probably be put up in the next few days. But it's all about, gold is to do with the angelic kingdom and the connection. It's like the tapestry of the angels, and it's a connection to the intuitive side of who you are. And blue is different, there are different tones of blue that connects with, let's put it as a better example. If you were to stand on the edge of the sea on a clear day, and the blue of the sky meets the blue of the water, that's what blue takes you to. And then when we get to indigo and the deeper blues, it goes into the invisible realms. It's like at the beginning of evening when the blues start to change and get deeper and deeper and deeper, and you go deeper into the night. And actually the night is been closed down to us as being a good thing. A lot of people are frightened of the night, of the darkness, but it's actually eternity, and it's part of the feminine aspect. And Rudolf Steiner talks a lot about this aspect of how the feminine is been put behind a fear. So part of the men waking up to their feminine will require them to look at that. But they'll have to have a positive understanding of what it really is. And of course, I know in England they've been brainwashed to think that feelings isn't masculine. Right now it's all going to change. It's got a balance. We all have to rewire. And then the outside form of what our reality is will change. It's changing little by little. Lapis is a very special blue. That one, Lily would have people with cancer hold lapis, or have a brooch or a necklace made, and it has gold in there. Well, that sounds like a very heavenly piece of mineral you've got there. Thank you, Verpy. I hope it will come out. I'm going to start working on the text. Angela, we all need angelic gold. Well, these things are tuning into the energy of it. Actually is tuning into that part of who you are. Verpy, I love that movie, The Girl with a Pearl Earring, one of my favorites. It's also about painting, a fictional book and movie about the Dutch artist Johannes Vermeer. I went to it with a girlfriend of mine that was a painter as well. And tears, the beauty. But you know what how different that movie is that it actually, the director and the film production, everything, it wasn't just here I am painting blue. The visuals, I love watching it because the visuals is capturing the true radiance of the colors. That took a lot of courage and understanding about filming and what to put in the film. And it's really special movie. It was like the color was in the invisible, the silent aspects of the movie, if you have eyes to see. I'm going to watch that again. It's very calming and inspiring. Yes, Pauline, it would calm the fear. Yeah. Karen says, I wish you could see the Milky Way with me when I'm in the mountains in the dark. I wish I could too. I remember times that we went to Lindos quite often, David and I and the family, and we had a house. And up on the terraces, we would lie there. And you could see the stars. In fact, I've done a small charcoal drawing of one time there was a comet. I forget what year that was. I'll have to dig out those drawings. Because I put in the comet because I saw it coming across the sky. And it was so clear because often a lot of the countries we were staying in, you couldn't see the stars because of the all our lights everywhere. And the clouds, of course, in England. I remember when we were in the Sahara Desert with the Floyd, they were filming for the Genie tour and their promotion. It was one of the first and probably the last times that they would do something like that. But when we were out there, there was this one sign because we were leaving Marrakesh in convoy, and there was this sign with a camel saying so many days by camel to Ouarzazate and Timbuktu. And it was all just sand roads, and fortunately the people driving knew where we were going. But the reason why I'm saying this is because when we got to this very random motel, there was no street lights reflecting in the sky. It was just black. And in fact, in the morning we had to get up quite early for the film shoot before the sun rose. And David was in a panic. He thought he was blind because, again, there was no light in the room. And because I have really good sense of getting about in the darkness, I remembered there was a candle on the desk, so I crawled over there and lit it, and he was relieved that he wasn't blind. How it could have happened in the night. But that night sky was a rarity. And that's amongst the sand dunes. Furby, that's great. She says she's watched The Girl with a Pearl in Her Ear several times. She's read the book and before the film, and she felt it was like how she imagined it, which is a rarity. Often when books are put to film, it's not always that way. Doreen, I once saw you painting with a raw egg. Could you please explain what egg tempera is? Is that how you get such rich, bright colors? It is one way. Egg tempera is if you take just the egg yolk, put it in a jar, and put in two, like the volume of what an egg yolk is, you put the water equal to two more egg yolks, and then you shake it. And a lot of pre-Raphaelite painters, they used egg tempera quite a lot, and it like makes a glaze. And I've often used just the egg white in between, that makes a glaze. It can capture a lot of colors. You can use watercolor then with it because it's water based. And it's very nice. In India, when they're using it, they always do something called burnishing. There's a tool that's a bit of agate in different shapes at the end of a bit of wood, and they would burnish the paper. It's like a meditation. They'd be tuning into that invisible realm of who you are, to the source of life, because they really, really knew about how important it is, the energy coming into your artwork. So they would burnish the paper, and I got several of those wonderful tools, and you do it before you gold leaf in other countries. It makes the surface of the paper or the canvas have a different quality before you would put on the gesso, which you then use the egg tempera, and then they would paint with oils on top of that in certain countries during certain eras. Right now it's a matter of integrating all these different techniques, but the main thing is tuning in, so your intention is coming from the source of the highest of what we are. And I have no idea what's going to happen most of the time. I just open myself up. Cecil Collins' classes help all of us that went to him for years to touch the truth of the creative force of who we are. And that's what I've tried to do. I was about to, I did start live classes here in my new home, but COVID came, and so I thought, wow, because everyone was in such a state, and I know these classes help you to touch that place. It isn't like my classes are to do with let's do a landscape or a still life, or to know what you're going to draw. It's to do with touching that place, that creative force. And then something happens from there. And they're on, where are they? I think you can go to them. I think they're on my website. And I decided, because everyone was so frustrated and in crises, that I would give the first lesson, which is the beginning step. It's another way to touch that place. So you can get that for free. And then there are many other lessons that you can subscribe to and go deeper. It goes into color, but it's all to do with you manifesting, touching the source. So, Doreen, thank you for asking that technical question. Yes, Karen, it is a non-toxic paint, that's for sure. And I've also experimented with egg tempera where I would use oil pastels on top of it, and then it's a real test of patience to blend those two together. But it isn't always non-toxic because I'd have to use a little bit of turpentine spirit. But if you didn't want to do that, just stick to the egg tempera and the watercolors and the gouache. You can get watercolor pencils, even tempera pencils. And then if you have the watercolor pencils, you can dip it into the egg tempera and play with it. Take a brush and cover your paper with the egg tempera solution, and then use the watercolor pencils and see what happens and let it blend out. You can then add Conte crayons. They come in all colors now. And again, brush that solution on there, or dip the Conte in that, or do the brush and the Conte together with egg tempera. There's a lot of good old playing that you can do. But again, I allow that inner spirit to direct me as to where and what I'm supposed to do. So let me check you all out. So we're coming up to nearly the end. So if there's any other questions that you want to know that I can help you with. I know once I have thank you, Doreen. She reminded me of my own saying, in beauty we are united. This is true, but the true beauty of who we are. Beauty is another bridge to the invisible. The main thing is that you as a human being is the middle, the pendulum of the middle. Can I move to my right? Okay, here we go. Pauline, to my right. Is that stage right? Are we going this way? Hang on. See what I'm doing. There's this way. I don't know which one you're referring to. Maybe I'll get down. And there. This isn't finished yet. There'll be gold in it. We're working on it, and she's got fairy wings that will appear more as I work on her more. Let's see. Thank you, Verbi. It is amazing what you can use. I did a painting course that we had to grind things like in Girl with a Pearl. There was a time that's what you had to do. And thank you, Laurie. Thank you, Pauline. And I've got a lot of powders. And in this course we had to use shells from a mussel, and once we ground it in the old way, we then put that into the mussel shells. So we had our own, like oil paints, like what they did in Vermeer used to do. And there's a place in London where you can go and get these powders that have been ground. I haven't been there for a while. It's called Cornelison's. Magic place. It's just old wood and shells of these colors. If you're in London, please go. It's very wonderful. Pauline says the other side. Oh no. Which side? Shall I just lie down? Hang on, I'm gone. So you can see both of them. I'll be down here for a bit. I am back. Nunzio wants to know, that's quite a question, what inspires you the most, and not only in your work? Love. Just that feeling of being one with life. When that peace touches, and that inspires me a lot. And to be able to be in that space while I'm creating is something. And sometimes the creating and allowing it to come forth is a catharsis. And I realize that the catharsis is really important, because when people look at it, if I really went through and transformed whatever emotion I was feeling on my way to touch the true peace of and love of who we are, then you as the person looking at it would know in your heart that you could do that too. Head rush. Yeah. Well, Pauline, I don't know which one that you really mean. Just out of shot. Is it in the same picture? Let's say if we take the blue dress picture, is it to the right of that? With a lot of gold in it? Or is it beyond the angel with the red wings? Maybe you could tell me. Then I could figure it out, because it's a bit like I'm not good with stage right and stage left. It was such an experience when I came from America over here, because we drive on the other side of the road, and I'd start to cross because I thought it was clear, and suddenly I nearly got run over by a car. It took a while. Absolute, which means what? The gold one? Your right hand side. Okay, I have to go back on here. Are you referring to that one? That's one of my favorites, if you can hear me talking. It's the golden wave. And there's a bit of golden wave at the top. I hope that's the one you want to see. And that's based on a meditation that I used to do, that it inspired that God, or the life, the creative force, is bringing down an energy into the physical realm that you pick up. And it's like a gift from above. And then it's our job as a human being to give the gift back by creating your life with the best possibility, using the potential that we've all been given. And that all comes together in this center of the painting there. That's the point. And then you go out into the universe in harmony. So I hope that is what you wanted to see, Pauline. Thank you. I love that picture a lot. And initially it was made in white. There was I had a cycle where everything was white. And I'm sort of returning to that a little bit. But gold is coming in. I can show you another one that I unwrapped just today. I forgot I had done, and it's still being worked on. Let me see if it's showing. Might have to. It is to the left. There you go. Maybe I have to move it closer. I did this during the time when there was a terrible problem. Where was it? I don't know if it was Serbia. Somewhere, it wasn't the Live Aid thing, Ethiopia. It was since then. And I thought, okay, I'm going to, it's the one time that I was allowing my inner thoughts to direct things more, to where I wanted to send protection. And it came to me today, because I just undid it. Let me get it. All those little tents there. And what I intend to do now, it's been a few years, and I just took the bubble wrap off of it today. And because what's really filling me, and we talked about it in my last color therapy, the importance of violet as bringing strength and healing and balance with the invisible and the visible, how important it is. And so I'm going to put some violet. Originally, I always wanted to paint a rainbow of love coming down, and I never got around to it. I wound up moving my studio, so it's coming alive. One never knows. Sometimes it takes the wave that's gone through a lot of different sitting on the shelf in the back of the studio, and then coming out again. And as I said, it was made in white marble dust, really special. And then I got an inner directive. I kept looking at it, and I'm studying that meditation. It was by Russell. He has a whole course, but he's not alive now. But I kept seeing these colors. And there's a YouTube of the day that I gave in and said, okay, I'm going to, I'll listen, I'll put the colors on it. And it was, and then the gold leaf came. And as I was doing it, there was a lot more textures that was suddenly disappearing under the resin. I was in a real panic. But you learn to follow that inner thing by hook or by crook. And it turned out, and it's wonderful. I love it. Fortunately, I have a mold to where I can make another one when this one has to find a new home. That will be quite a day. So, my special friends, Matthew's cooking me my dinner. I can smell it right now. I'm hungry. And it's time to say until we meet again. And be well, be safe. Verbi is not a closed group, just like this one. Just show up. And also they're on my YouTube channel, as I said, and you can go on there free and start from the first one, which was green, and do it in your own timing. And we're doing it Friday. I don't know, Canon. It's a surprise. But all I can say, it smells really good. So, thank you all. Be well. Love and hugs and kisses and all those things that make life really special. So I am going to have to say ta-da. And we shall see each other again in whatever way you can meet us. Okay? Love you lots. See you. Bye.